My question is kind of complicated. I've always been a very positive person, and I've experienced a lot of positive things in my life. A year and a half ago, I had a very serious cancer surgery that pretty much turned us upside down. I began working very hard on more positive thought, and in April, a couple months ago, a PET scan showed that it had spread, and it was about that time that I discovered your teachings, and I've been trying to embrace that as strongly as I can. And for some reason, even though I can recount countless positive things that have happened because of my intentions, it's like I'm at a roadblock with my health. I'm trying to save my life, and I can't seem to.
Well, we think what you've heard already here today is really going to be beneficial to you, because when you say, save my life, it puts it into a very tense, urgent, important perspective. But when you say one thought at a time, it's easier to grasp. And the thing that we want to say to you is that one thought at a time is plenty heavy duty enough to save your life. People, the biggest difficulty that people have with just choosing a thought that feels a little better is that it doesn't seem significant to do big things. And yet it's the only thing anybody ever does, because you always just choose one thought at a time. Now, as Esther, and we know that there is no comparison between the trauma of what you're living and an uncomfortable week at marathon. We're not trying to make light of what you're living. But we noticed that as Esther had a vibration going, and so did Jerry, before they ever got to marathon, that they weren't aware of. Just like you had a vibration going before the cancer appeared in your body. Now, we don't say that to you for any reason other than to point out that there was already momentum going. And so once momentum is going, it's harder for you to turn it around. And once something manifests, it's even harder for, in other words, Jerry and Esther, if they'd taken the time, they could have cleaned up their vibration before they ever got there, and they would have had a much better response. But they didn't take the time to do it because they're busy, there are other things going on, it didn't seem that important, but now it seems important. Same sort of thing happens with you. You've got a vibration going on a number of topics. We'll talk about some of it if you want to. And it just didn't seem important enough to clean it up. And so you got a manifestation, and now it does. And the thing that we really want to say to you is you still can. You could have every deadly disease known to man, and we would still encourage you to an understanding that you can clean up your vibration enough to turn it around. Really, you can. You're not at the risk that you think that you are, once you get a handle on what the work really is. And the work isn't to feel like this and bounce over here. Nobody can do it. In other words, nobody can cheer you up when you don't feel like being cheered up. You got to move into places that you have vibrational access to. But it's a steady movement in the right direction that is necessary. We talked earlier about the quantifiable journey from Phoenix to San Diego. Very easy to understand. And we see people, we've seen you, moving in an attitude of hopefulness toward the manifestation of recovery that you want. But because there is always so much vibrational improvement before you see any physical evidence, even though the vibrational improvement is there and the evidence will be coming, when you stop to take score and you get a bad report, then you turn around and go back to Phoenix. We've seen people who don't have enough money. In fact, they are desperate for money. Things are closing in on them. They're about to lose their home, who manage to get hopeful even though no more money is coming in, and they're right on the brink of something popping and turning around for them when one more bill collector comes and they get all freaked out and turn around and go back to Phoenix. And so we really want you to focus upon the 99% plus of every creation is complete before there is evidence, so that you're taking this emotional journey where you're letting your hope move to belief, move to knowing. And let us put it to you in another way. When you have a desire that is as powerful as your desire is to remain longer in this physical body, and you manage to bring your vibrational attitude or mood into one of more hope than doubt. Maybe a little doubt, but mostly hope. Not even belief, just mostly hope. The disease stops in that moment. By the time you move from hope into mostly hope, where the doubt is not there, the hope is so strong that you are borderline believing, evidences start showing up. And by the time you move from believing into just knowing it's a matter of time, it happens so fast the doctors call you a miracle, you see. So it is the emotional journey that you've got to focus on. You cannot continue to look at what is, because what is isn't going to change. What is isn't going to change right now. And so what we want you to hear is what is doesn't need to change for you to change the way you feel. And when you change the way you feel, what is will change. Yeah. But if what is needs to change before you change the way to feel, that's the stuck thing. If I need a good report before I can feel relief, you can't get there. But if I can find relief regardless of the report, you see.
Are you able to see if I've made progress in my efforts? Are you able to see such things in people?
We can feel, we wouldn't call it see because we're not using sight to interpret the vibration, but we can feel the vibration, and we can feel that, let us put it to you in this way. The vibration that is within you right now is a vibration that can keep the cancer present, but it's not a strong enough vibration to have gotten it started to begin with. In other words, which is an improvement. So as you ease up a little bit, and as you feel better, just for the sake of feeling better, things can turn around for you. What are the doctors telling you?
Well, my last appointment in May, when I was just getting some prescriptions and blood work ordered, he wanted to talk about hospice. So I left. I don't know how I even left his office. And I canceled all future appointments and tests because Jim and I are trying to be so positive, and traditional medicine has all but written me off.
Well, that's good, because that stops those dreaded tests.
Yes.
In other words, that lets you clean up your vibration without constant evidence that you don't have the manifestation quite yet. And so you get the sense of this, don't you?
I desperately am trying. But that was probably, it's all right. It's all right, because where you are is where you are.
Where you are is where you are, and anyone in your shoes would feel the urgency of this. So don't apologize, don't feel bad. It is perfectly normal. But we are looking forward to you moving yourself off of that feeling of desperateness. And we felt that happen even as we were visiting here. You can feel that you have some creative control. And let us tell you some things we know about you. And you'll know this too. You know this too, so it will resonate as we give it to you. You have never been someone who enjoyed very much somebody else telling you what to do. In fact, you've never liked that at all. You have wanted to run your own show. You sort of were born, not sort of, you were born wanting to run your own show.
My mom.
And so this is something that you've set up for yourself, where Esther said to Jerry last night as they were driving, fascinating to me that I have this sensation that I want to call someone who has the power to help me. Like, it feels like I'd like to call Mother and tell on them. They're mistreating me. They were bad to me. They didn't keep their promise, and they told constant lies. Because a mother, not Esther's mother, and not now, but a mother figure would step in and say, there, and I'm sorry, honey. And there is this feeling within all of you every now and again. It's a slight feeling that you would like someone to stick up for you. That's what Esther was saying. Let me give you a bologna sandwich so that you can intervene on my behalf. I want someone to, with some gumption, get in there and tell them that they should be better than they are. And then, so Mother might do it. I can tell my teacher or the principal. In other words, there are all kinds of authority figures that when you rat people out, they step in. And if you're really good about pleading your case, they'll side with you. And then they'll use the power of their agency or law in order to get you what you want. And Esther said, law of attraction sort of takes all of that away. There's not even a God I can pray to or plead to who's going to defy law of attraction on my behalf. I've got no damn choice but to clean up my vibration. And I don't want to. I don't want to clean it up. I want to be the one exception in all of the universe. I want them to treat me good because it's the right thing to do. And I want them to keep their word because that's the right thing to do. I shouldn't have to clean up my vibration. I shouldn't have to do anything different. They should do what they should do. They should care more about. And then, the longer Esther chewed and talked, the funnier it became to her. Because a realization comes over you or her that here I am. Jerry can't fix it. Mother can't fix it. Mother never could fix it. Mother never would fix it. The principle isn't there. Abraham won't fix it. We won't bend law of attraction. In other words, you and Esther are going to have to clean up your vibration. And when you do, the results will be there for you. And you know what? Both of you came forth so stubbornly determined to figure that out. You are powerful creators, you see. You create your own reality. You create your own reality. You wouldn't have it any other way, you see. And so we can feel, when you say that desperate thing that you feel, it's not desperate in the sense that you don't have time. It's desperate in the sense that it's such an important wanting within you. You've always wanted to find your own power and exercise it. And so you've put yourself in a situation where there are no other alternatives. You can't lean on anybody. It really is up to you, which is always what you've wanted to understand and apply anyway, you see. It's a perfect opportunity for you to finally once and for all find out the power of your mind and the brilliance of your own guidance system. You can guide your thoughts into a place that will allow long, healthy, happy life in this physical body. So, one little thought at a time. So, just ramble. Everyone's certainly happy to have you take the time a little further. Just give us some dialogue of some things that come to your mind easily, and don't try to guide them to please us. Just speak what's on your mind, and let us point out for you in very vivid ways which path you're taking. And we'll show you how easy it is, even if you're well along this path, to start turning it to the better feeling path. There are resources in your body, resources in the atmosphere, resources in the energy vortex, resources all over the place to assist you. In other words, you are far from alone in this. And when we say it's up to you, you've got to do it, we don't mean that there's no help. We mean it's up to you to put yourself in vibrational alignment for the help. You get what we're saying? So just ramble and we'll demonstrate. Talk about it. Just talk about it as you do to your mate, to your friends. Just talk.
My attitude has been trying not to focus on the illness as much as focusing on, I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to be healthier.
All right,
I'm trying to make
but
changes.
feel the heaviness of that. You can, can't you? Because you are trying. And so that's all right. So all of that was sort of in that direction, sort of going about it the hard way, where doors close, where they say, we can't do anything. So just keep talking. You'll feel it when it shifts, and it will. It's all right.
I feel I've made a lot of progress.
Now that's different. That was a different fork, wasn't it? So now when you feel you've taken another fork, try to amplify that a little further. So what do you mean you feel you've made a lot of progress?
I caught myself arguing with myself in the shower, where I usually the negative voice comes up and it says, what if you fail? What if all your efforts and you fall flat on your
face? All right,
face?
now this conversation is sort of, so you forked over there and now you've forked over there. So now...
Then the answer to that was my very adamant response of, no, I'm going to be fine.
And now which way did that take her? What did it feel like? Did it turn? Well, it's a toss-up, because when it doesn't matter which way it took you, because you can take yourself another way anytime you want to. So we don't want you to get too invested over which way it went. If you're not sure, just lean harder this way.
Well, I remember getting out of the shower and telling my husband, I said, I just had this argument with myself, and I was adamant that, no, that's not correct. I am better. I'm going to be better. And I said, I really am believing what I'm believing.